right, welcome back into the channel and welcome in for another NFL game recap video. Today we got a Monday night doubleheader where the games kind of buns a little bit, but I do think that there was a lot to take away from both of these games. Some things for the now that both the Bengals and Broncos can work on, and some things for the future that I think could be highly important for both the Jets and Dolphins. I want to start this video off though by saying prayers up for Tyreek Hill. That injury looked absolutely gruesome. He's definitely going to be out for the season. This was Tank Dell levels of bad at Tyreek's age. You know, you don't want to put the bad karmic energy out there, but you have to wonder, did we see Tyreek Hill's last game in the NFL tonight? It's on the board. Prayers to a speedy recovery. Prayers to Tyreek Hill and his health. Let's start with this Bengals-Broncos game. Just ended, so fresh in the mind. 28-3, the Denver Broncos pick up the victory. They move to 2-2. The Cincinnati Bengals fall to 2-2, 0-2 in games that Joe Burrow did not play at all in this football season. And I want to start with the Bengals, man, because they are the main focal point for me. They have to make a move at quarterback. I think Jameis Winston is the obvious answer. I've been kind of hammering down on this for weeks now. Jake Browning is not good enough. I know a few years ago, Jake Browning came in and was good enough for Cincy while Joe Burrow was out, had them to 4-3, 5-3, whatever it was in that time period, and he was solid. It is 2 weeks in a row now of him just not being able to generate any level of offense. And I get it, it's been the Minnesota Vikings and the Denver Broncos defense. Both of those are good units, but it's not even been competitive or close. I don't expect Jake Browning to be able to lead this team to anything. We saw, obviously, Joe Burrow versus this Broncos team towards the end of last year was one of the better games at the end of the season. The Bengals won. And I'm not saying that Jake Browning, oh my God, this is a game he needed to win, but this is a game, in my opinion, to keep the job he should have been competent in. They didn't find the end zone one time. He couldn't lead a touchdown drive. That is a problem. 14 of 25 for 125 and a 69.6 passer rating. Not good enough. Jamar Chase, who in my estimation is the best talent in the NFL at the wide receiver position, only having 23 receiving yards. That's not going to cut it. T. Higgins, 32 receiving yards, led the team. Not going to cut it. The ground game got a little bit better for Chase Brown this week, but it's never going to open up when teams don't have to respect your passing offense. The Cincinnati Bengals are too weak in terms of defensive personnel to be this inept offensively. And I actually thought their defense played fine tonight. When you consider how often they needed to be out there, it's just a bad showing from them. You know, I want to pull up the stats now a little bit earlier than we normally do, but look at this. Look at how just unimpressive this offense is. And inept. 32, 31, 23, 22. Your highest receiver had 32 yards in this game. Broncos defense is good, but come on, man. 9 total first downs. Jake Browning couldn't even lead double-digit first downs. You only ran 43 plays to the Broncos 80? Broncos had 512 total yards of offense compared to your 159. It's just night and day. The penalties, I mean, were terrible, but look at this time of possession. 38-22 is a ginormous jump. The Cincinnati Bengals offense with Jake Browning is flat out inept. Jameis Winston. New York Giants. Joe Shane. Looks like Jackson Dart's the future. Russell Wilson's his backup. What's the price on Jameis? Yeah, we'll take it. Because with where Baltimore is at and the fact that Lamar might be hurt, Pittsburgh's 3-1, you're only one game back of them, haven't even played them yet. And while they have a good record, I don't think that they've looked far impressive. If you can get competent quarterback play with receivers like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Chase Brown out the backfield, Yoshavas, we've seen Jameis can have big games. And don't get me wrong, I think Jameis will throw some bad interceptions too. But right now you're getting all of the bad and none of the good with Jake Browning. Colts, what's the deal with Richardson? I mean, I would prefer Winston personally because you kind of know what you're getting. And a gunslinger in Winston with these weapons would produce offensively. So for me, it's an auto must move on from Jake Browning for the Bengals because the opportunity's there in the division with how far down Baltimore is. Truthfully. And we'll see if Joe Burrow can get back this year, but as things currently stand, there's just no way you can continue running out this offense led by this quarterback and expect your fans and team to be invested in winning. As for the Denver Broncos, man, 2-2, a rough start to the year. I didn't love the game tonight. I felt like it was more of a story of just how bad Cincinnati is, that Denver was able to dominate as much as they did. But Bo Nix, we got to talk about it. 29 of 42, 326 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. The passing game was spread out. It was great throughout. I'll pull back up the stats here. You can see here, Sutton 81, Mims 69, basically 70, Franklin 55, Harvey 40, Troutman and Ingram each with 30 apiece. Very spread out offense in this game. Sutton and RJ Harvey catch the touchdowns. Dobbins with 101 on the ground, 186 total. Him and Harvey with a good combination there. Basically 100 all-purpose yards for both guys. So you really like to see that out of this running back duo. We know that Sean Payton's goal for this team basically is to recreate a Pierre Thomas, apologies for that, a Pierre Thomas, Mark Ingram type deal. So, the Broncos offense against a bad Bengals defense looked really good. Maybe this is something that can get them going. They travel to Philly this upcoming week. So, we'll see there. Was this just kind of like a mirage versus Cincinnati, or did Denver finally get rolling? Because I feel like they've been pretty sloppy the first couple weeks in this game. Defensively, Singleton, 11 total tackles. Benito with 1.5 sacks, pass deflection. It was a pretty solid overall night for Denver. Again, I'll go back to the team stats just because they did dominate. 80 plays is disgusting work out of them, to be completely honest. 512 total yards is nothing to scoff at. That's a really, really solid game. The penalties, you'd like to see that kick down a little bit, dominated time of possession, even lost the turnover differential and still won this football game. That interception from Bo Nix, though, I didn't really mind it. It was 4th down. They were going for it near the goal line, and Bryce Young a couple weeks threw a ball out the back of the end zone in that spot. I had no idea what he was doing, so it wasn't the best throw from Bo Nix by any means, but at least, see what happens. I'll allow a play to be made if one could certainly be made. The Broncos took care of business in this game, and that's what a good team would do. When you consider the AFC West now, both the Broncos and Chiefs 2-2, the Chargers 3-1 after the loss to the Giants. So really, both teams, all 3 teams, are still in the race. Kick it over to Dolphins Jets. The Miami Dolphins get their first win of the season. They win 27-21 over the New York Jets. I thought the Jets really just shot themselves in the foot in this particular game, to be completely honest with you. You could make a case if you're a Jets fan that they should have won this game. When it comes down to the stats, Justin Fields had more passing yards than Tua in this contest. Pretty similar overall passer ratings, but Justin Fields, 81 rushing yards on the ground and 226 through the air, over 300 all-purpose yards, 2 touchdowns. A pretty solid day at the office for him. Breece Hall played solid. Braylon Allen had that goal line fumble, and then he got hurt. Garrett Wilson gets going a little bit later. They should really design more for him. The rookie tight end, Mason Taylor, he was injured towards the end of training camp and preseason, so it looks like now a month into the season, Mason Taylor could be becoming a real piece from them. And then on the Miami side of things, Devon Achane. Tyreek Hill was the leading receiver in the game before he got hurt. Obviously, that changes up a lot of things for them. We'll talk more about that in a second. Jalen Waddle now will be the wide receiver 1. Darren Waller finally plays. They've been ramping him up for like a month now. I thought he was just never going to play. 3 catches, 27 yards, 2 touchdowns. Hey, man, they got him to be a red zone threat, and he is that. But again, when you look at this score here, it's like the Dolphins won the game. But if I just showed you the team stats score, the Jets, more first downs in this game. Total plays goes to the Jets. They had 100 more all-purpose yards in the game. Rushing, they were better. Time of possession was pretty close to split. The thing is, turnovers, 3, penalties, 13 for 101. These kinds of mistakes right here will absolutely kill you in football games. You can't afford to give other teams more opportunities to beat you, and you can't afford to have 100+ yards and penalties the length of the football field. Ultimately, I do think that the Jets are probably a better roster than Miami is right now, especially with the Tyreek Hill injury. Dolphins won this game today because they just played a cleaner game, but you could see from a production standpoint that New York did outplay them from that standpoint. These are both top 10 picks in the NFL draft teams for me, truthfully. The difference is I actually believe in the Jets' future because I don't know if Justin Fields is going to prove he could be the guy this year. He's had two okay games thus far. This game was pretty solid against Miami's defense, and Pittsburgh's was decent. And then obviously the game he got hurt in, so we got a lot of runway left for him. But even if he's not the guy, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, Mason Taylor, a good offensive line with Fashanu and Membu. These are pieces you could be excited about if you're a Jets fan for the future. I don't know if Fields is the guy at quarterback. If he is, cool. If not, probably also cool. For Miami, things start to get a little messy here when it's like, what is the future of this football team? Because this Tyreek Hill injury, again, we don't like to speculate, but the general idea out there right now is a knee dislocation with some tear, similar to Tank Dell. Tyreek Hill definitely done for the rest of this year. And if it were to be a career for him, Tua, A-Chain, Ollie Gordon, Jalen Waddle, Malik Washington, Mike McDaniel, do you continue that entire experiment and see if this team could turn it around? The defense obviously still not really that good as Justin Fields was able to move the ball up and down the field on them. These are both bottom of the barrel teams, but the Jets have less commitment to their quarterback. And, Tua was fine in this game, probably his best game on the entire season. But it could have been bad. He had that fumble that was recovered. So, not exactly a bright rest of season for either of these two teams. I think there was a reason that this was a doubleheader. They wanted the other game to be Joe Burrow and the Bengals versus Bo Nix and the Broncos. And these guys would have gotten on Monday Night Football earlier. And, it is what it is. The prayers are up for Tyreek Hill. Absolutely. Hopefully he can get back. Hopefully he can continue to play the game that he loves. Tyreek was absolutely cooking tonight before he got hurt. Looked like he was finally getting into his mojo with this team. We'll see if the Dolphins can kind of stack some momentum after this game. I believe their schedule is not too difficult coming up. Maybe I'm mistaken. At the Panthers, first Chargers is a tough game, and then at Browns, at Falcons. So it's possible over the next month that the that the Dolphins go 3-1, and then they move back to a 500 spot for the rest of the season. So maybe this is the start of something for Dolphins fans and for the Jets. I never thought this season was about counting wins, more so about just, do we see guys that have potential? And hey, at least Mason Taylor showed some tonight. And then to recap real quick, the Bengals, go trade for Jameis Winston. The Broncos, it was a great offensive showing, but it was against the Bengals, so I'm a little skeptical on how real it truly is. However, those are just my thoughts. Be sure to leave yours in the comment section down below. If you made it this far in the video, I'd appreciate it if you hit the thumbs up button. If you're not yet subscribed to this YouTube channel, but you love the NFL, hit that button. I'll catch you tomorrow for the Tuesday tier list. Peace.